The views expressed on the Nova Society are those of the panelists and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Phoenix Research Institute or any institution which any panel member is associated. Welcome back to the Nova Society, a space where dialogue deepens understanding and civic responsibility comes to life. I'm Dr. Mark Bound, joined by our regular panel, Dr. Scott Gershwer and Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon. Together, we'll unpack the stories that matter most, exploring the headlines, the history, and the big ideas shaping today's conversations. Let's dive in and hear what the panel has for us today. All right, Brooke.
All right.
What do we got next?
We have a question from Tammy, who lives in Savannah, Georgia. And Tammy asks, I see that ICE raids are starting to go into full force in North Carolina. Yes, first Charlotte and now Raleigh. Better watch out, Dr. Mark. They are getting closer. But seriously, these actions are being condemned by almost everyone, even those with the most limited mental capacity. People are dying because of these raids. Protests are becoming increasingly confrontational. Does the panel see this ending anytime soon? I admit I am beginning to worry. After Trump and ICE Barbie are gone, does the panel think these ICE agents should face some sort of reckoning? Oh, I think definitely yes. And no, I don't see that this is going to end anytime soon, to be honest. And I agree, Tammy, about worrying. Yeah.
I did read something encouraging about North Carolina's response to ICE raids. I had heard that the waitresses in local diners are giving the ICE agents little packages of chocolate as they leave the restaurant. And one of the other patrons says, hey, how come you're giving them little bags of chocolate? Why can't I get some? And the waitress turned around and said, you don't want those. Those are laxatives. So they're reacting in their own way to the presence of ICE in their midst. I saw ICE agents with masks on and the whole deal the other day, a video of them basically walking up to two guys blowing leaves in a parking lot and demanding to see their papers. And both of them evidently were able to talk their way out, and the ICE agents left without them in custody or anything like that. But that's the country that we want to live in now, is that we're going to have ICE agents asking people to see their papers based on their looks or their occupation. Mark could be out there blowing the leaves on his lawn, and some ICE agent comes over and says, you must be the gardener. And, let's see your papers. And Mark's like, it's in the bar. Yeah. Get the hell out of here. And they beat the hell out of him.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to be as polite as those gardeners were.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I love it. The Operation Charlotte's Web. Come on. I mean, you could come up with something a little bit better than that. They reported they arrested 207 people, of which 44 were individuals with violent criminal records. Now, that's being disputed a little bit as far as the violent criminal records. So, but even if it wasn't, so we arrest 207. And let's say 44. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. 44 had violent criminal records. Well, okay. Well, what about the 163 that did not? I mean, what's the scoop with that? Charlotte-Mecklenburg County Schools, the other day, over 30,000 students missed school on the 17th of November for fears of ICE raids. We got kids that are afraid to go to school, and the district reported widespread anxiety, particularly among the Hispanic families, who make up 31% of the student population in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep, and businesses were closed as well, which is not going to do much for the economy there either.
Right. And even the school district, Wake County, their public school issued a memo supporting students' absences during the immigration enforcement. And they basically said, yeah, we understand. We understand why, and it's not going to be held against you. I mean, there's so much, and of course, I hear more about it here from the local news, because the news we get here in Spartanburg actually comes out of Asheville and Charlotte. We do have our own local in Greenville and Spartanburg, but we get the channels out of Charlotte and Asheville. And I've watched some of the national coverage of it. If you think it's being fought on the national stage, in the national news, you should hear what's being done here in the local news. Asheville hasn't even been impacted by it yet. Just has not been, but they're waiting. They're expecting it. They're truly expecting. In fact, I heard somebody say from Asheville, one of the representatives from up there said the only thing that might save us is the fact that the hurricane hit us, and we're still rebuilding. So they might leave us alone because we need those people. We're rebuilding, and I think that was a very telling comment to be made. That the people of Asheville were like, if you come walking in here and you start taking out these people, the roofers, the construction workers that are rebuilding, and they're still rebuilding. There's still parts of Interstate 26 that's impassable. I mean, you have to kind of go around a little bit. Not much. They've done. I give them all the credit in the world. They've done some great work. Really have done some great work to get it back. But there's still towns that they used to be there and they don't exist anymore, and they're rebuilding. And they need these skilled. Let's forget about their immigration status. These are skilled workers. Because you're not going to find me or Scott up on top of a roof in North Carolina in July. Ain't happening. Matter of fact, you're not going to find a whole bunch of people.
Up there. If there was a kitten up there,
but I'm getting up and I'm getting off. I'm not going to stay up there for very long. And, Josh Stein has been really great about, and it's almost every single news broadcast where Josh Stein, his face is on there and says, you see something, report it, video it. And then, of course, you see the ICE agents go, don't video us. You can't video us. You can't. Well, the governor of North Carolina says video him. That's the response he has. And he did make the comment, this is a federal thing. He goes, state-wise, I'm not sure what our recourse is. But what we can do is we can document. And I think that comes back to the second question, Tammy's second question. Should they face some sort of reckoning? Oh, yeah, they should. Sorry, you could say that they're patriots and they're, the gravy seals or whatever the hell you want to call them. But the fact is that, no, they're going after low-hanging fruit. People have died needlessly. And they're not killing the violent criminals. They're killing the people that are the low-hanging fruit. And let's remember, it's a misdemeanor. I don't care what you feel about immigration. Doesn't matter. You don't like the fact that being in the country illegally is only a misdemeanor? Talk to your congressman, get the law changed. I haven't seen one single person come up and say, hey, we need to change the law and make it a felony. So
yeah. I don't know what else to say about it, really. We're in a horrible place right now with these, internal army that's the size of Brazil's army marching around the country doing different things, stopping people, asking them for their IDs, and committing really what amounts to, sort of thuggish Nazi tactics on people of the United States of America. Doesn't feel like America to me.
No.
So
no, it does.
There should be a reckoning at the end of it. I'm not sure if the next president is going to do that or not. Obviously there's going to be a statute of limitations. It's certainly possible that Trump just gives him one of those blanket pardons and prevents anybody from seeking justice for it. But one way or another, this is going to be remembered as a very bleak period in our history.
Yeah.
Well, Trump was saying that he thought the present ICE people were not doing enough and that he needed to see more of what they were doing. They needed to expand upon what they were doing and toughen up what they were doing. And I'm thinking, they're breaking people's windows, not necessarily windshields, but windows, and pulling people out of their cars and injuring them. And then people have to replace and pay for the windows and things that were broken. And the person didn't comply. Well, you have to give the person a moment to comply. Realize that people are quite startled and are not expecting to be shouted at and screamed at, and the ICE person has a weapon, crowbar or whatever, and I don't think the people are being given the opportunity to comply either.
Oh, it's not only just the opportunity, Brooke. It's a matter of somebody comes up to my car, has a mask on and is wearing, a flapjack with no identification whatsoever, and says you need to comply, I don't know. That probably is not going to. I'm probably not going to do it. In fact, matter of fact, I can almost guarantee I'm not going to do it.
I'm not cooperating with
no,
that.
No. And, the difference between North Carolina and South Carolina has open carry. And I will say this, South Carolinians aren't afraid to use it because we have a stand your ground. And that's going to come back at some point in time. And I think that's why you're not going to see ICE in South Carolina. I don't think you will. If you do, it'll be down in Charleston, and I wouldn't want to be there, or Columbia, the capital. And honestly, I don't think they want to go there either, because South Carolina has a very strong stand your gun law, or stand your ground law. And if somebody that's masked and just has a military-looking outfit on with no identification, and even though they say, I'm ICE, I don't know who the hell you are. I'm more likely to shoot you than I am to open my window. Or I'm more likely to open my window first and then shoot you, because that's going to happen. And then I'm going to go on the defense of, I'm standing my ground. I don't know who this person is. This person could be anybody. I mean, I don't know who they are. We even here in South Carolina, and there's been a lot of cases in not only South Carolina, but in the South, where somebody got pulled over by a sheriff's deputy in an unmarked car. Blue lights going, everything, yep, but it's dark. And the person says, I don't feel safe. There's a gas station right there. We're going up there. So it's more of a public place, and you're under the lights. And, the cops sometimes lose their mind over that. Oh, they're running. No, they're not. They're moving to a safe location. And I've always told my kids, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you get stopped and it's an unmarked car, even if it's not an unmarked car, you want to drive to a safe place, because your best defense is when you go to court, hey, I don't know who this is. In today's society, this could be anybody. And in the South, they really do. They accept that argument when these people drive to that, a Walmart parking lot or whatever, and get themselves in a public place with a lot of lighting to be safe. Now, it doesn't really work very well when it's daylight, when it's midday and there's a lot of traffic around. But it works really, really well, at night when there's not a lot of visibility out there. And that's going to happen to one of these ICE agents. They're going to pull over the wrong person. And they're going to pull them over, and bottom line is they're going to get their ass shot. And then everybody's going to lose their mind over it.
Yeah.
But the fact is stand your ground.
That's the next day. That's crystal knocked,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if the person that does it is Hispanic or not. It won't matter.
Pennsylvania has open carry.
Yeah, and nor should it. Like if you're in the United States of America, you're subject to the laws of the United States of America, whether you're a citizen or not. You're a person here. And, it just seems to me like we're violating some really, really basic principles of our own Constitution. We're violating the convention relating to the status of refugees, 1951 law coming out of the Holocaust that says that you cannot be expelled to the frontiers of territories where your life or freedom would be threatened on account of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion. I mean, it's all right there.
Yeah.
It's an international treaty that we signed along with 150 other countries, and we're violating that now by taking people who, we can't send you back to Nicaragua or Venezuela. How would you like Laos or Sudan? And I mean, this is sick. And if it can happen to them people, it could happen to any of us. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're a citizen or not. It doesn't matter if you're Hispanic or white. They can do it to anybody. And that last one, a membership of a particular social group or political opinion.
Correct.
Everybody on this podcast would be shipped off to a concentration camp in some horrible country in violation of the 1951 convention relating to the status of refugees, Article 33. And and we're not doing anything about it right now because it's what happening to other people. Why aren't we up in arms about this?
Yeah.
And how do you fight it? Because frankly, I don't know how to fight it. I mean, other than slipping them laxatives at the end of their meal, or
then not letting them use the bathroom.
Right. Right. And that, or, taking out your phone and videotaping them when they're doing their thing. They're wearing those masks because they don't want to be identified. They don't want their families to be identified. Look, you know what? Sending pizzas to their house or, swatting them or something like that. That's what the lowlifes do. Maybe that's where we need to start doing it too. And making their families feel this same pressure that other families are feeling, including, I saw one of my students today. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, I think, where he held me after class and said he lives in terror every day when his father goes to work. And his father has applied for citizenship, has not yet taken the test. His mother just took the test and is now going to be a citizen, or, whenever they award that to her, whenever that happens. But his father has not gotten there yet. And they're from Brazil and Ecuador. And he says, every time my father leaves the house in the morning, I think it's going to be the last time I'm going to see him. How do you live your life like that? It's impossible.
You can't. The stress is just killing.
Right. There's a kid who's 17 years old, 18 years old.
You got to feel, and you got to feel bad for them. You really do. But, in answer to the question of, does this violate the law? All right. So first, it violates the Fourth Amendment. And let's remember something. If you step foot on United States soil, you are afforded, whether you're a visitor, no matter what the heck, it doesn't matter. You are afforded the rights of the Constitution. We have to follow the Constitution if you're on the United States soil. And ICE, the protection against unreasonable search and seizure. If ICE comes to your house, my friends in North Carolina, if they do not have a judicial warrant, they can't come in. It's illegal. They have to have a judicial warrant. Can't be some administrator from the government. It has to be a judge. And I love how they say, well, we don't have to show you the warrant. That means you don't have one. And you have to show the warrant. That's one of the things. I mean, that's a violation. Due process of law, detaining people and not giving them access to legal counsel or a fair hearing before deportation. Totally against the law. Equal protection under the law. If you don't know that these raids are happening mostly against Latinos, then you're obviously been living under a rock. These are targeted. And that's exactly, as Scott pointed out, is exactly what it's not supposed to be. So, I mean, there's so many constitutional issues with that. My question is where's the Supreme Court on all this stuff? They should be standing up. And I know Brooklyn hates the Supreme Court.
They said it was okay.
Well, yeah, they
and
offered.
Like the Kavanaugh said, oh, it's fine. They'll just take a few minutes. And then if you get yanked around or pulled, sorry, I interrupted you, then you can sue them. Well, you can't sue them because you don't even know who the person is. They've got a mask on.
Well, it's not only that, but you don't have status.
Yeah, and you don't have
judicial status to be able to sue.
Exactly. But Kavanaugh said, oh, no, but you can sue them. Well, no, you can't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is the man even talking about?
Well, that's Law 101. He failed that one. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just want to end this, if we're done, on a happy note. Okay.
A happy note, please.
Maybe not a happy note, but one that your advanced sense of Schadenfreude should enjoy. Apparently, in Minnesota, a man named Alexander Back, who's 41 years old, is a civilian employee, works as an auditor with the Department of Homeland Security, was arrested along with 15 other people this month for allegedly attempting to solicit a 17-year-old girl for sex. When he was arrested in Minnesota, he told police, "I'm ICE, boys," as if that would get him off. Get him off the hook.
There you go.
The operation was called Operation Creep, and the police chief, Booker Hodges, and this guy's a rock star in my opinion, said, police chief Booker Hodges said, said, wait, hold on, let me get the quote because it's too good. He said, I know this is a tragedy in a lot of respects, but I want to say that he sends people to federal authorities. I think he's going to see some federal authorities. So love that. I'm ICE boys. These guys really think who they are, I'm ICE boys. Back off.
Back off. And you know what? If I get abducted by aliens at this point, I'd see that as a rescue mission. I thought you'd like that.
Yes.
All right.
Sounds good. Yes. Yep. Well, good. So thank you, Tammy. Those are excellent questions. So I think that Dr. Mark is safe and the ICE agents had better watch out for him, given that South Carolina is open carry. Excuse me. But the ICE agents should face a reckoning. Whether they will or not, of course, is another question. But we do thank you for your question. And thank you both, Mark and Scott, as always.
And that's all the time we have for today's episode. The Nova Society is a production of Nova Society Media, a division of the Phoenix Research Institute. We want to thank our production partners, Buzzsprout, who hosts the Nova Society, Audacity, our editing team, Apple Podcasts, the largest source of podcast and music online, Spotify, the most popular platform for the Nova Society, and iHeartRadio, your destination for all things music and podcasting. The Nova Society is available on all of these and other quality platforms listed in our description. And most importantly, we want to thank you, our listeners. Without your support, the Nova Society could not be possible. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing on the platform of your choice. It's easy, it's free, and helps our channel grow. For questions or comments, you can reach us at nova.society.podcast@gmail.com. So on behalf of Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, Dr. Scott Gershworth, and all of our production partners here at the Nova Society, I'm Dr. Mark Bound. Remember, the true power of society is knowledge. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again next time.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening!